Hi there. So this week I was talking all about choices, the importance of choices, offering choices to our students, particularly when we're in intervention settings. And why? Well, when we have our students come to us in intervention settings, they're not always the happiest to be there. Why? Because the work, as we know, is much more challenging at times or at first. And we really have to work on building that trusting relationship to help them get over that hump. They also might be coming just from a source of frustration. So by offering choices, then they feel a little bit more like they're in the driver's seat. So some of the just tiny little choices that you can offer are pretty simple. For one, at the beginning, when you may be tracing letters, doing some like after your phonogram card drill, then you might want to say, okay, do you want to trace on the plastic cross stitch? Or do you want to trace in the sand tray? Okay. Some kids who can't stand the sand tray, they don't like the feel of that grit on their fingers. So they might choose the cross stitch instead. When I really want some kid to work on pointing as they read, and it's something that they're not in the habit of doing, maybe because they're one of my newer students, I might offer some fun pointers. Do you want to point with the ogre pointer? Or I don't know, werewolf? Or do you want to point with a cat pointer? So just giving them a few choices with pointers is always a lot of fun and gets them really to loosen up a little bit. It's kind of a funny situation when you're pointing with an animal finger in or paw, whatever, instead of your own finger, right? And then finally, one more thing is when you're reading pieces of decodable text. In the first try, you may want to break up that text. For instance, in this poem right here, In the Grass, which practices the floss rule, you'll notice that some of the text is in italics. And that is a really good um, time to explain to a student why some of the text is looking like it's kind of slanted and some of it's not. And it's because it's a poem written for two voices. So we can have somebody read this part and somebody read the parts that don't have slant, just regular text. So the choice would be, do you want to read this part or the other part? And then I would have them go through and highlight the parts that they're going to read, color code them maybe in a yellow highlighter and a green highlighter, and then we can go through. This particular poem is actually really, really funny and always surprising at the very end. So I will put a link to the poetry bundle if you're interested in it. So those are just some easy, simple ways that you can be working choice into your lessons, not just during games, but just at little points in the Orton-Gillingham lesson that can really go a long way. The students feel a sense of autonomy, feeling like they're a little bit more in the driver's seat because they get to choose. But you have set the parameters so that they are still learning and growing and making progress with you. So thank you so much. Let me know if you have any choice ideas for me. I'd love to hear them. Bye-bye.